Hi, good morning. Welcome to another reading vlog. Right now, it's Monday morning. I'm about to head to the library where I'm going to try and do some focused work. I had this idea that instead of staying home and being distracted by everything, I will go to the library and work and see if that helps me to focus. I'm not sure if it will, but I'm going to try it. Reading wise, I do have a few things I want to read this week, basically this pile. So top priority is God's Grave by Jay Kristoff. This, again, it always happens to me. This needs to go back to the library. But also I'm excited to read this. This is a series all about a girl named Mia who becomes an assassin in order to take revenge on the people who destroyed her family. I really enjoyed the first book, so I'm excited to read the second book. And then as well, I want to get to the first two books in the Wizard of Oz series. I've got this beautiful illustrated edition for Wizard of Oz, and then I've also got the marvelous Land of Oz. Wow, that lighting! So I'm reading both of these for Believathon, which is a readathon put on by Gavin Hetherington. I'll put the links down below. Really, I should have read these in Gavin's classic weekend, but where did that weekend go? I don't know. I certainly didn't get anything done during it, but regardless, if I can get through the two Wizard of Oz books and God's Grave, I'll be happy. Also, I'm currently listening to Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. This is like this French hate to love romance fantasy where a witch hunter has to get married to a witch. So far they haven't met yet, but I guess we'll get there eventually. I've only just started it. And also this week I'm hoping to read The Vanishing Stair by Maureen Johnson. This is the second book, the sequel to Truly Devious. The third book's coming out next year. It's like a murder mystery book. It's taken me quite a long time to get to the second book, even though after I read the first book I was dying to know what happens. So I'll be glad to finally get to it. And then if I can also squeeze it in, I want to listen to Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. It's a YA sci-fi about some space cadets who get themselves into trouble, I assume, and that's probably all we're going to get to this week. But if I got to all of that, that would be 6 books, so like that's pretty good for a week. Let's see if we can actually make it happen. Oh my goodness, I've just been filming some videos. I was only going to do one video this week because I decided during NaNoWriMo week I would only do one a week, but then I had this other idea, so I decided to do 2 videos anyway. And then I just filmed, and honestly, I've got about 2 hours of footage, which is much more than I thought I would have. So that is going to be a pain in the ass to edit. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know. Regardless, one thing that I have been trying to do is get through God's Grave. I think I'm up to about 60 pages in. I really think this is a beautiful edition. I'm a bit jealous that my library has a signed edition, but look how beautiful that text is. I also don't really understand why there's like a million pages, like 3 pages that just say the title. Don't know why we need 3 title pages. But also the maps in the front are like so detailed and so beautiful. I really think I would love to own a copy of this book that's so beautiful like this. And like every chapter has really beautiful chapter headings as well. It's just really lovely. Like look at this section header. Ah, so beautiful. And I also really liked Jay's dedication, which was, "For my enemies, I couldn't have done it without you." It made me think that I need more enemies. Maybe that's why I'm not doing as well at things as I would like to be, because I don't have enough enemies to battle against. I don't know. If you'd like to be my enemy, let me know and maybe we can work something out. Anyway, as far as reading this book goes, I personally think that the way that it works is every chapter there's a section of the story that's like 4 months in the past, and then there's a section of the story that's now. And I think skipping between those 2 timelines is actually a bit confusing, and every time you get to a new chapter you have to think back, oh, where was she again? And then when you get halfway through to when we come back to present time, you're like, oh, where was she? It's just very confusing. And then adding in the whole way that he adds the footnotes in, which again take you out of the story, I do think it disrupts the flow a bit. I mean, I understand why he's keeping with that style, But personally, I do think I would enjoy the story a bit more without it. I do really like the story, but I just think it's very action oriented a lot of the time, but the action keeps being broken up, and so instead of flowing really fast like I think it would if it wasn't jumping back and forwards in time, it kind of just clunks along a bit. Anyway, I'm going to try and read more of that tonight. I also think I'm about halfway through Serpent and Dove now, or maybe more, maybe about 2/3 of the way through Serpent and Dove, and I have to say, it's just ridiculous. Like, it makes no sense. This guy is a witch hunter, like a captain in this witch hunter guild, but like, what is he even doing to hunt witches? He just seems to be mucking around all the time. He doesn't seem to even know what he's doing despite being a captain. Like, is he in some kind of leadership role? Because I haven't seen him doing any leadership. And then the witch girl doesn't really seem to have any motivation for what she's doing either. She's just kind of hiding but trying to sneak around, and oh, I'm so tough. And it's just, there's all this angsty romance stuff, but it's so over the top and it doesn't make any sense. Like, almost nothing the characters does makes any sense given who they're supposed to be. And I mean, I guess if you could just like let go of the fact that none of it makes any sense, then some of it is kind of fun, but I don't think I can let go of it that much. So I'm listening to it. It's not terrible, but there doesn't seem to be much point to it. I feel like at the end they're gonna like learn that, I don't know, I can definitely see why some people are giving it such low ratings, but I can also see why some people are giving it such high ratings. Except that also, like, why did they get married? I don't know, some archbishop just kind of decided you should get married. Didn't really seem to be much justification for it. It didn't really make sense why the witch would want to do that. She kind of gave some kind of like, oh, maybe it would be good for protection, but like, getting married is a very extreme measure to take just for a little bit of protection that you're not sure this is even the best way to get it, and actually puts you in an incredibly dangerous position. So that made no sense either. Basically, the book doesn't make sense, but if you can put that aside, I guess it might be kind of fun, but I don't want to put that aside, so I'm just listening to it to see whether anything interesting happens in the end, but I doubt it. Anyway, I gotta go and try and do something with the 2 hours of footage that I just recorded, but I will check in again when I've done some more reading. Good morning. So I have pretty much this week just spent the week writing for NaNoWriMo and editing this video that turned out to be a lot more work than I expected, but hopefully I can finish it off today and get it up tomorrow. I did manage to finish Serpent and Dove, and it was interesting because I have seen a few people's reviews where they thought it was really great, and also people's reviews where they didn't think it was great. And I think the thing is, if you really like the angsty romance, then it won't bother you that there's no plot for the first half of the book. It won't bother you that the characters aren't fully developed. I think because of the lack of plot, I often find it's the plot that kind of reveals a character's deeper personality. And so if you don't have any plot, then you don't have any personality. But then at the end, there was a bunch of stuff happening. I did laugh a bit when there's this bit where the witch hunter guy kind of finds out a bit about all the stuff that's going on, and he's quite overwhelmed. I thought that was pretty funny. But then there's all this dramatic stuff happening. It was kind of exciting. And then we kind of got to this lull, and I thought we were building up to like another big explosive ending. But instead it just kind of ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, and I was like, really? That's the ending? I thought it was weird that it kind of like had such a big exciting thing and then like dragged on for quite a while at the end. But then again, I just think this whole book dragged on way longer than it needed to be. I think it could have been about half the length that it was, and it would have been a lot better. But never mind, not for me. It does have a beautiful cover though, so something, I guess. Not that I own it, but at least there's another beautiful cover out there in the world, even if I don't like the book. Some people do. Then once I finished Serpent and Dove, I started listening to The Vanishing Stair, which is the sequel to Truly Devious, and it was so nice to be back in a story which makes a lot of sense. I think it did a really good job of like recapping the first book in a way that wasn't boring, because I was worried. It's a very complex mystery plot going on. There's a lot of characters, a lot of clues that I assume will all come together, and I thought I probably have forgotten a lot of that, but it kind of like caught you up on all the key bits without being too obvious about it. So I thought that was really well done, and I'm really enjoying it again so far. Possibly more than I enjoyed Truly Devious, so that's good. I'm also about halfway through God's Grave. I'm going a lot slower than I was hoping, but I did realize I can renew this at the library now, so I did that, and I am not getting more fines. Hooray! Also, from just a bit before where I'm up to now, it stopped doing the thing where it jumps back and forward in time all the time, and so much better. So much better. So I'm still kind of hoping to finish this week, but like Jace is coming around later and we've got some plans this weekend, so I don't really see me having any reading time, so I don't know how I really expect that to happen or how I think I'm going to get to any of the Oz books. I'm definitely very behind on reading this month, but it's because I've been doing NaNoWriMo and like I really need to stop prioritizing reading. So if I'm not reading as much, that's just life and I have to deal with it. At least I'm getting some other stuff done, sort of. I did also, yesterday I went to the library and I picked up Dark Dawn, and this is the edition that I wish I had. I wish I had the whole series in this edition. It's so beautiful. But the Nevernight edition like this costs about $1 million, so I don't expect I'll ever be owning the series in that style. I also got a few others from the library, so I got Five Dark Fates by Kendare Black, which is the last book in the Three Dark Crowns series, so I'll probably be reading that in December. It actually doesn't look too scary, but I think it's because the pages are thin. I got another Babysitter's Club graphic novel, and then I got this Alcatraz versus the Evil Librarians from Brandon Sanderson. Took a little while to arrive, and I still think that the librarians are withholding this because they don't want me to read it, because they don't like being called evil. But regardless, I guess I'll probably read that in December too. Anyway, I've got to go and do my NaNoWriMo words for today and finish getting this video up for tomorrow. So probably next you'll see a bunch of footage about the weekend. Good morning. So it's Monday now and I haven't finished this vlog. As you will have seen in the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we basically just went out and enjoyed the nice weather, went exploring. We didn't go too far from home, but we did find some new nice places, so that was good. And then on Sunday morning we went on the tunnel walk. So there's this new rail tunnel that they're going to be building in our city, and they opened it up so you could go and walk through it. That was kind of fun just to see what that's going to be like, although there is a lot more work that they need to do and it's going to be really disruptive, so that's fun. Reading wise, I did manage to get a little bit of reading done this weekend, and then last night I finished off God's Grave. I really liked it. I loved the way that all the things came together. I did feel like some of the bits of the plot I didn't care about as much as the other bits. It does kind of meander off with some other characters, which it all comes together in the end, but I really just want more of Mia, and I don't care that much about the other stuff. I want to know what's going on with all this shadow magic, and I suspect the third book is going to pull it all together, so that's cool. There were quite a few reveals in this. A lot of them I guessed, especially the one at the end. I was like, I knew it. And mostly that was because of BookTube having given me a few hints, to be honest. But I did really enjoy this, and I'm glad that I have Dark Dawn ready to read, although next week I'm going to take a break and read some different things, so that will be interesting. So far I'm doing terrible at Believathon because I haven't read any middle grade books, but again, next week I will definitely be fixing that. I don't know how many of the prompts I'm going to hit, but I'll definitely be reading a lot of middle grade. I mean, other than God's Grave, I did also read the 2 audiobooks, so 3 books for a week isn't bad. I've just been reading so much for so long that now it kind of feels like not reading much, but I need to get my reading levels back down to realistic levels now with the summer coming, and I want to finish a whole bunch of things off before I go back to work, and then I'll be back at work and I won't have nearly as much time for reading. So that's going to be annoying. Anyway, I guess this is the end of the vlog. As always, thanks for hanging out for the week, and I hope everything's going well with you, and I will see you next time. Oh, no! Actually, I forgot to talk about The Vanishing Stair, because I finished that just before we went off on our exciting, fun weekend times, but I finished off The Vanishing Stair, and oh, that cliffhanger, the series, like, it's pulling things together, and we learned some cool stuff in The Vanishing Stair, but I cannot wait for the next book. I think maybe when the next one comes out I'll reread the whole thing, although I will say it did a really good job of like getting you back remembering all the clues, so I think that it will probably do the same in the third book. I hope so. So maybe a reread isn't necessary, since it won't be that long till it comes out. Early next year, I think. Anyway, if you haven't read the Truly Devious series and you like YA mystery thriller, sort of thriller, not really thriller, but kind of, almost, more mystery. But if you like that kind of stuff, then I definitely recommend the Truly Devious trilogy, and I'm so excited for the next book next year. So now I'll actually properly wrap up the vlog and say goodbye and see you next time.